all the time.
Sarah had been trying to write a book for ages, but she was still on page 1. Until she discovered SpeakYourOwnBook.com. Sarah teamed up with one of our trained writing coaches, who listened to Sarah's book idea, asked the right questions, and guided Sarah every step of the way. In 90 minutes, they had written the outline for Sarah's entire book. Within weeks, using the speak writing method, Sarah became a published author, both online and in print. Whether it's a textbook, an autobiography, a novel, or a children's book, SpeakYourOwnBook.com can help.
Yeah!
Visit our website today to download our free 50-question guide and schedule your free consultation. With Speak Writing, anyone can publish a book. Speak your own book today. You speak, we write.
Aromagees Botanica, a metaphysical store for mind, body, and spirit. Oils, herbs, candles, crystals, teas, handmade soaps, tarot cards, everything you need on your magical journey. Daily psychic and tarot readings, classes, witchcraft, pagan, and hoodoo supplies, most of it made in-house. Try our free Dress Your Own candle station. From spiritual gifts to ritual supplies to religious books, we have the widest selection of metaphysical products in all of Tennessee since 1999. It is our goal to inspire everyone to explore their spirituality in their own way by offering information and products in a nurturing multicultural environment. Open 7 days a week. 223 Donaldson Pike, Nashville, Tennessee, or visit us online at aromagees.com.
A hand-carved natural quartz crystal ball made into a necklace for divination on the go. Crystal balls have been used for centuries in healing and cleansing rituals, as well as for divination. The sphere represents infinity and the circle of life. While a wand uses focused energy, the crystal ball sends out energy in all directions. This makes it a great resource for discovering the complete circumstances surrounding a question.
Welcome to the Conscious Radio Network's YouTube channel. Become enlightened, have fun, and tell all your friends and family to share with everyone they know. You can find us on Facebook and stay up to date on our Facebook group, or find us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Our podcasts can be found on Libsyn, iHeart, Spotify, Google Podcast, and more. Most of all, remember to go to our official website at consciousradionetwork.com for podcasts, hosts, future shows, and scheduling. We also want to welcome our international audience. Don't stop now. Enjoy the community. Subscribe today.
This is the Conscious Radio Network.
Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you might be on this spaceship we call Earth. Welcome to Conscious Radio Network's weekly podcast series, The Seance. I'm your host, Reverend Dr. Paul Meckes. If this is your first time tuning in, please click subscribe, like, share, comment, and listen wherever, and follow where you listen to your podcast. Today, she was impelled from early childhood experiences, has spent over a decade as a monastic nun exploring the path of presence. With a master's in theology, she lives to inspire others to connect to and live from divine love at their center. She is a TEDx speaker and former meditation faculty, meditation faculty at the renowned Omega Institute, where communication skills ignite transformation on all levels, serving others to live of freedom and joy. She has served tens of thousands through her writing, speaking, retreats, online courses, and community, and has 2 new books here in 2023. Let's welcome to the show, Kimberly Brown. I stumbled a little bit. I'm like, the energy. I can't think.
You made it sound like a celebration nonetheless.
Right? Yes. Welcome, my friend. Welcome.
Thank you. Great to be with you.
So, how did this start? I mean, as a child, looking and seeking the divine and seeking enlightenment at such an early age, how did that all start for you?
Wow. You make me want to well up a little bit. The felt sense of that. I was really deeply connected to a desire for happiness and for understanding and for bliss.
Yeah.
I was really connected to it. And I think children in general are living that much freer than many of us adults find ourselves to be. But what I can speak for myself was that I had an orientation of being really curious about what it was all about. So I had the desire, and then experiences would happen, and I quickly drew distinctions like, wow, that actually makes me feel really happy in a way that doesn't stop. And wow, that doesn't really make me super happy when I eat that candy bar really fast, like, and it wasn't so much analyzing it, like I was sitting back like an observer. It was just this juiciness that led me into that path of curiosity and that deeper connection. And then I remembered all these different experiences. So as they were happening, they became my worldview, and it became really easy to refer to them. And as for any of us, I think when we have something of a timeless experience, when we touch in on it through our words or our memory, something comes alive for us in some degree because it is timeless. And I just happen to remember all those things. So it was kind of like a no-brainer to me. It's like, well, why would I want to be about anything else than this?
Yeah. Especially observing at such a young age. Like I said, all children are truthful. There's no preconceived notions. We're not bogged down with life that's going on around us. That we, children observe also what's going on around them and realize people aren't happy.
Yeah. Right.
And then comparing that with what you're searching for, that there's something greater out there.
Yes. Yeah, and you taste it.
Yeah.
It becomes something outside of you. Whether you're set up to know that at once or not, there's something happening inside you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, with using some of your terminology, um, what are the four? What are your formative, illuminative experiences that impact you at such a young age?
Uh, One of them was when, do you want the story or the takeaway?
Um, a
Oh,
little bit of the story, and then the takeaway.
the takeaway. Okay. So I lived in Cincinnati and I used to love school. Like, and love walking to school. And in the autumn, it was especially dramatic for me. And one autumn, I was walking home and I had an experience of all nature dancing and like involved in this big movement. So I began whirling to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And at a certain moment, I came into complete physical stillness because the bliss was so great. And as I was standing there in this wordless appreciation for the deep state, out of nowhere, this deep angst came up from me as I looked at a tree. And the tree was wiggling in the wind, and the leaves had all changed colors. And then one leaf, it was like it reached out and grabbed me. And when
Yeah.
that leaf fell off the tree, unsolicited by me, a real angst of, oh my God, is that all life is about? Moving towards death? That was this little reaction, but from really deep within. But when it happened, because it was so deep, time stopped and it was revealed to me. This is my language then, not now. The leaf was in God and God was in the leaf. I was in God, God was in me, and that everything in life is about this being and becoming, period.
Yes.
Period. And it gave me such happiness that I have never experienced sadness around anything having to do with death. I mean, sadness over loss, but
Yeah.
not over the movement of death. So that formed a worldview for me that that's all I'm a part of, this creative process of consciousness coming into form. And what is that? And how do I assent to it more? And what's another iteration of that or another form of that? And how do I help others to have that kind of joy?
Yeah.
That's one of them.
Wow. Yeah. That I felt that when you first described about the leaf, it's like, oh, it's just moving towards death. It just, yeah. And I feel a lot. It's not the fear of death, but it's something we all have to embrace, and just
Yeah.
none of us are going to get out of this alive. So, and that it should be treated as a celebration,
Yeah.
like a graduation.
Yeah.
What is your view on death?
It's a
Now that,
great thing. And I love the way, you use the word celebration. And it's a tricky word too, right? Because it it puts us in a position to penetrate the paradox of that.
mhm,
It's something that's the dramatic end of something we know is actually worthy of a celebration. And you can make the mental jump to that and find a certain degree of rest, but the real rest comes from the actual experience of that.
yeah,
Uh, I my where I'm at, if I were to try to put it in a succinct statement, is I truly believe that all that is created is an expression of consciousness coming into form to discover and have the joy of celebrating itself. So when I truly see you, if I'm consciousness in that moment, seeing you, I will be celebrating you
yeah, yeah.
as a diverse expression of what I am. Yeah. And then, so I think then these transitions from this part of me find a place in the larger whole in that.
And I've always thought this is a deep conversation now. It's like,
Oh,
is I've always had that thought this divine thought, the higher self, is our expressions of ourselves throughout our life are, it's truly our spirit. It's our eternal self that's here in this body, that consciousness.
I
And
love
it's here in body physically
right.
because we're we want to experience life. We want to be able to touch, to feel, to smell, to see, have all the five senses because it's a sensory overload. And if you're in spirit, if you're out of body, it's like there's a portion of that doesn't get to experience that as though if you were in body.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It totally makes sense. And what a mystery that is, right? That
Yeah.
something that has no bounds can experience a certain boundary.
Yeah.
Like as much as we can say, you're me and I'm you, and there's a truth there, you also don't actually look like me when I look at you. And I don't look like you when you look
Yeah.
at me. Like there is distinction that's happening in this mystery. And I think there's something in the dance of that. I like the dance, those words, because it it's more engaging than saying this or that.
Yeah.
Uh, so
Yeah. Yeah. And and that's why I've always admired, the salutations used in other different cultures. Like I use namaste quite a bit. And the meaning behind that is I honor the divine in you
right,
and recognize that and honor that.
yeah,
Um, and that segueing into the next question, in today's society with all this going on, it's just everything just seems like we're almost like the human evolution seems to be de-evolving. It's like we're not honoring anybody anymore. What are your thoughts and as we move through your experiences as we're moving um into this and what your thoughts of where we're going?
They're such great questions because people in general, at least many of the people I serve, and there's many, have a fair amount of ongoing stress, in the form of anxiety or insecurity that's in a way well founded because as human beings, I think we're wired to have a sense of I belong, I have security, I give and receive love, I can express myself. There's so many things that I think are part of our essential nature that the world around us as a collective is breaking down
Hmm.
around all of that. My bigger take, and I kind of shy away from large generalized statements because I feel like my my call is immediate to
Yeah.
embody love, to inspire love, to reflect love where I see it, to call it on, to encourage it, to facilitate it. And from there, I don't think I need to have the big picture in some ways that we want to look at. But I do have the belief that part of what is involved right now with what's happening is we are still highly motivated by fear. And in my estimation, I think we're a bit like a 3-year-old in the evolutionary process.
Hmm.
And we have a little bit of a delusion to think that we're either adults or older adolescents, that we
Yeah.
have a bit
Adult
more
children.
autonomy. But what would you ask of a 3-year-old? Would you expect a 3-year-old to understand certain things? Uh, there's a lot you wouldn't expect of a 3-year-old. So I have a lot of compassion, but that is a view that I have.
Yeah.
And I also have a view as an ultimate optimist and experiencer of the divine that form will, one way or another, become the fullness of consciousness. How it's going to happen, I have no idea. We may all be destroyed and come back as fireflies, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Or back in the ape, it's
Yeah.
just like, oh man. Uh, Now, explain to our audience the work that you're currently doing, starting with your book, which is actually is currently out,
It's out. It's out.
um,
I'm
and you're
very
going to be
excited.
doing some signings and some get-togethers and stuff like that, and some events. Explain a little bit about that.
And thank you so much for giving me such a window to. So, because my life is all about this fidelity to my inward, to source at my center, I have found over the years that my form of service has that constant, but has new iterations. And I think that's true for most of us,
Yeah,
right? We have a beginning, a middle, and an end to many of the things that we give ourselves to. And so with the lockdown, I shifted my attention to serve locally. But up to that point, and now beginning again,